You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network.
What is going on? California's in the building. Maryland is in the building. New York City. What time is it in New York City right now? I am so off. I know today's Monday at the very least. My bell is watching from the DMV. Raquel, thank you so much for the reminder. Yes, let me remind you guys, if you haven't already, head on over to your favorite podcast platform or head on over to the Humble Brag podcast on YouTube and leave your crowns and your elephants and all the good things in the comment section. I am on the Humble Brag podcast with Cynthia Bailey and Crystal Kung Minkoff. Be sure to check that out if you haven't already. Yeah, we had a really great conversation. So if you missed it, you still have an opportunity. It just came out today. I was on the Humble Brag podcast. All right. Shout out to the Brooke Ashley because she texted me too that she watched. We'll be talking a little bit about Brooke because I'm not going to spill any tea. If you came to the New York City show, if you watched the live stream, then you already know the tea. I'm waiting for Brooke to tell the tea because she's going to be telling the tea. Then I will mention a little bit. I'm not going to get into the details because that's not my story to tell, but it's relevant to this week's episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac. Okay? But okay. Shout out to everyone watching from around the country and around the world. Anyone watching from Europe? Anyone else on my time zone? Just asking. Hey, Mr. Mel Magic, you're our best. All right. Exactly. DJ says, I can't wait for Brooke's live. Matter of fact, I need to text her to ask her when she's going live so I can be in the chat myself because I'm ready. Okay, I'm ready. Anyway, so this is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac. I told you I wasn't sure if I would even have time to do it today just because busy, but here I am. I did get a chance to watch it. I've been watching all the clips because I didn't have a chance to watch it, of course, because I'm traveling. But I was seeing all the clips. I felt like I already saw the episode. And honestly, I did kind of see I did already kind of see the episode. I'm not live on Twitch. Apologies. Let me see if I can go live now. Please, let me see. Let's see. Sorry, Twitch fam. Now we're live on Twitch. Thank you for letting me know. Who just let me know? Hold on. Let me say thank you. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Angelique. Angelique says, you're not live on Twitch? I'm live on Twitch now, Angelique. Let me know if you can see me. All right. So where do we even begin? If you guys had to rate the season 10 premiere episode of Potomac, how would you rate it from 1 to 10? I thought it was a great premiere because it kept me engaged. I was like, what's happening here? A lot of my opinions might be unpopular, but y'all already understand I really don't care. It's my opinion, okay? It's my opinion. But I thought it was a solid premiere. I definitely would give it probably like an 8.5, maybe a 9. Maybe a 9. I don't want to give it a 9 too early because it is the premiere. And there are some notes. Of course, I have notes. I do have some notes. But we will get to that. We will get to all of that. At the top of the season 10 premiere, we see exactly what they filmed recently when Karen Huger was released from jail 6 months after serving 6 months into a year sentence that she was supposed to serve, and she ends up getting out early. So they show at the very top Karen getting out of jail, and you hear her briefly. So that says to me she was mic'd. I don't know if they got any footage of her inside. I doubt it, because I don't think they're allowed to film inside. But I wouldn't be surprised if they filmed her being greeted by Ray at home. Please understand, the end of this season will probably be all about Karen Huger, just the way that she likes it. It starts off with Karen Huger, and it will end with Karen Huger, the same way season 9 ended. Does anyone feel like season 9 wasn't that long ago? Normally it always feels like, it's been such a long time. It doesn't feel that long. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. It doesn't feel that long, but okay. So at the top, we start with Karen leaving the correctional facility, and we hear her briefly talk to the driver. Hello, how are you? I know a lot of us love Karen, but I will always say, like, look, and then this is what I can appreciate about Gizelle in this episode. She didn't want Karen to go to jail because that's her friend. However, she understood that this was Karen's 4th DUI, and she didn't want another, because that's the thing. And I think the judge saw it this way as well. If I let you off again for your 4th DUI, and the next time you're in front of me because you took someone's life, I wouldn't want that on my shoulders. Just saying. And I really hope we see a different Karen, meaning that she really takes accountability, because like all of you, I enjoy Karen. I really do. But where I draw the line is that you could have taken someone's life. Luckily you didn't. And that the whole charade that you played at the, last season, I'm not going to forget that. I'm not going to forget that. And it's just a reminder to me that a lot of these housewives get caught up in their own hype. We saw that, they say alcohol sometimes is the truth serum. And we saw all of that, between the Thomas Jefferson's concubine and the grand dame of it all. And she's like, Andy, like she's mentioning Andy Cohen when she gets arrested. You live in this fantasy world. Do we know if Karen's going to be at BravoCon? I mean, I don't know. Can she would have to get permission to leave because she is on probation. I wonder. Look, let's be honest. BravoCon is not the place for someone that's trying to be sober. These housewives are drinking and having a good old time. That wouldn't be the place for Karen Huger right now. And I know some might say, well, Karen doesn't necessarily have a drinking problem. She says she doesn't have a drinking problem. Your 4th DUI, again, I'm not an expert in this, but your 4th DUI, you might have a problem. You might have a problem. I know Rose. Where did Rose's comment go? Oh, Miss Rose says Karen never said that she was trying to be sober. Well, she might need to be. That's the problem. She might need to be. Forever says, I think she can go for work. I know she could probably get permission to go, but my issue is I know that these housewives are partying all weekend, drinking and doing all kinds of things. Coco says she's an alcoholic and she needs to admit, but that's her journey to walk. I know. Mr. E. Melvin says that how she kept getting away with it needs to be studied. Well, money, influence, just saying. All right, so let me continue. I know I went on a rant, but I think it's important because they start off this season with us revisiting what happened with Karen at the end of last season. So they flash back to Karen being sentenced, and we covered it. If you missed any of that, we did a whole live talking about her sentence. And we even played the audio from what the judge had to say in court. So 2 days later, they flash forward to 2 days later, and we see Gizelle and Ashley reacting to Karen going to jail. So everyone's coming to Gizelle's home. So I don't know the time frame of when they were filming any of this, because that was in February. I'm guessing they may have picked up cameras to capture that moment and then maybe go back. I don't know. So Gizelle and Ashley react to Karen going to jail, and they try to make it seem like they were being serious, but you could tell that they were being shady in regards to, I hope Karen she's with elderly people in the jail. And then Ashley chimes in. She's like, yeah, like the AARP jail. They can't help but to take little digs at Karen. But again, Karen, you gave them the fodder to run with. So, but please understand, these are not your friends, because your real friends aren't making these types of jokes. So Gizelle and Ashley then discuss Stacey and what's been going on with Stacey and her possibly faking her relationship with TJ. Because you remember, that's how the end of the season, the reunion. And remember, I had the exclusive and I told you what went down at the reunion, what was spilled. And what was spilled was that TJ was on the FaceTime with Happy Eddie and revealed that Stacey paid him. Do you believe Stacey agreed to pay him half of her Bravo check? And then look, it was her first season, so she wasn't making a lot. However, I don't believe she agreed. I believe she paid him to be her storyline. I don't believe that she agreed to pay him 50%. And if she did, she's a lot less than smart than I thought. I don't know if I believe that, though. I don't know if I believe that. Coco says she's not that stupid. Obviously not, because let me tell you something. Although we know, we really know, right? We all know that Stacey paid that man to be her boyfriend because we did not believe that was a real relationship. But the way it should be studied, the way that she's handling this is almost like a politician. It's almost like a DT, because she still has not admitted anything. And you remember TJ came out and said, I got receipts. I got receipts. We have never seen those receipts. And he took that video down and then he disappeared. Well, not disappeared. He's gotten more acting jobs. If anything, again, why should she pay you 50%? Because yes, I know he's had, roles and things like that, side roles. But let's be honest, he's gotten quite a few more roles since being on Real Housewives of Potomac. Again, I don't see Stacey saying, I'm going to give you 50% of my check and put you on television when you already have a struggle of getting acting jobs. And you were on this show and no one believed that you were sexually attracted to me. I want my money back. I want my money. I want Stacey's money back. Even if Stacey did not pay him 50%, if she paid him 2%, I want Stacey to get her money back. Stacey, you worked for QVC. What is the return policy on this? QVC and HSN has a very good return policy. We want our money back expeditiously. Excuse me? 50%? No one. And the thing is, people now recognize him because he was on Real Housewives of Potomac. I'm not saying that secured him new acting jobs. He's not a good actor. I know gay men that are better actors than him in regards to pretending to be straight. Wait, okay. I know gay men that are more convincing. They're not pretending, or more convincing as straight men than DJ. Just saying. You know what? Mr. Mellow says Kemp is more TJ's type than Stacey. Nope. Nope. Jamie says, I saw TJ in Your Friends and Neighbors on Apple TV. What, did he have a big role? Evelyn says 50% sounded like a bad deal. If she, I need receipts on whether or not, and that's going to be hard to determine because it's going to be he said, she said. If there's no contract, there's going to be, I'm sure that if there was some legal documents, I do believe, Ashley and Gizelle, that there are legal docs that he maybe filed a lawsuit against her, but they probably settled out of court. And her ex-husband probably is the one who settled it. We will get to that because I have my conspiracy theories on the ex-husband. But let me tell you something. The way the ex-husband looked at Stacey, I believe that relationship more than I believe Stacey and TJ. Anyone else? Cece said, Kempire would never. TJ ain't got enough of anything. Thank you, Cece. I feel like you really see me. Exactly. I ain't dating no struggling actor. I'm playing. Shout out to the struggling actors. I appreciate the passion. We appreciate the passion. I did an actor once, knowing you would know. Oh, knowing you would know. I'm just saying, another, like Zila's actor. But that was real. Just saying. But whatever. All right. Moving back to this. So Gizelle and Ashley discussed Stacey and possibly her faking this relationship with TJ. And why did Stacey get the same exact car as Ashley? Because they make a joke about that too. But apparently the car that Stacey's currently using is a loaner till she gets a custom-made version of that car. Why are they... See, that's the thing that people don't like about Gizelle and Ashley, because they always seem to try and harp on one particular individual. Again, it's very much like Mean Girls. It's very much like a sorority, that they harp on one person and it becomes like, okay, you're bullying. Like everything that she does now, you guys are going to be critical of. What, she can't get the same car? Maybe she likes that car. She's not trying to be Ashley. Trust me. We all like Stacey the way that she is. And I know, Stacey, I know you watching, girl. Hey, girl. I am coming into the season with an open heart. Because I still like Stacey's lying self. Anyway, I still like Stacey. Would I want to be friends with Stacey? No. But also her lies are innocent. Very much like Drew Sidor's lies. Okay? They're not like Mia Thornton lies. Now, if they turn into Mia Thornton lies, I don't see it. I don't see Stacey turning into a Mia Thornton. I don't. Anyone else? I don't see her turning into a Mia Thornton. I just think she got a little bit of a lying problem. But here's the thing. I'm just doubling back. Ashley and Gizelle harping on everything in regards to Stacey. Stacey's copying Ashley. Stacey's got bad breath. And look, if you came to the New York City show, not the last one, the previous one, we spilled that tea because someone came up to me at the DC show, because you remember Stacey came to the DC show, and they were like, did you smell Stacey's breath? Mind you, Stacey was right next to me on stage. And I said this before, I didn't smell Stacey's breath. And again, I give grace. If you're out at the club, you drinking and eating all kinds of nachos. I'm not saying that's what she was doing, but she was drinking. Maybe you got bad breath. Maybe you have halitosis. That is a condition. Okay. Wait, that is a condition. Some people just have bad breath. Okay. But I'll say this personally. I don't know if I would want to date someone with bad breath like that. I did date, not date. I went on a date with someone with bad breath. And I said to myself, okay, maybe it's this particular night. Because sometimes, depending on what you ate, then it was another night. And I said, And you have to decide at that particular point, are you willing to invest and actually tell that person? That person was too new for me to be like, your breath stank. Again, rewind it back, because I've digressed. I've digressed. When Stacey was next to me, and mind you, she was very next to me. She was trying to hold my hand on stage. She came on stage. We were in DC. Stacey, when I come back to DC, will you come to the show? But don't blow your breath in my face. I don't need you to prove anything to me, because when you were on stage with me, I did not smell your breath. However, it was interesting that night, and I can tell you right now, me and one other person were told that the breath was kicking. And I was like, really? I was like, she was right next to me. Maybe because we ended up not taking a picture, I think, because she left immediately after the show. Maybe then I would have noticed. I don't know. But I say all that to say, I'm digressing. Let me come back. I say all that to say, I feel like Gizelle and Ashley are being mean girls. I feel like Gizelle and Ashley are harping on everything that they can when it comes to Stacey. And it's one thing to be like, you know what, Stacey, you're caught out there, you lied. But now, Stacey's copying your car. Stacey's got bad breath. Stacey's got 11 foot. And here's the problem with talking about, and I'm not going to get into body shaming or anything like that. I feel like when some of these women, especially this happens on Potomac a lot, when they start talking about a woman's shoe size, it's almost as if they're taking away from their womanhood. Trying to be like, is she less than a woman because her shoe size is an 11? What is that about? Like, calm down with that. Because there are other big things on Ashley that people could talk about. And I don't get into any of that, but I'm just pointing out what people love to say about you, Ashley. So you want to be talking about someone's 11-foot shoe. Calm down with that. Exactly. We haven't had this conversation, but there's a lot of transphobia, especially within our community. And I don't think people realize that it is transphobic. You don't have to be trans for statements like that to be transphobic. Tanya says, right, I'm a size 9. Just saying. RC, thank you so much for the super chat. RC says, Stacey wants the exposure. She doesn't need the money. Because I think her husband does well. And apparently she's rekindled her relationship with the husband. We will get to that in a second. There were a lot of little short scenes. Miss Rose, thank you for being a member for 3 months. Miss Rose says, same. I love Stacey, but her ass is a liar. And I'm okay with it because Stacey is not our friend. It's okay for us to have friends on the show that are liars. And so as long as she's not lying to the detriment of someone else. You know what I mean? Just saying. Koga says, so they're not divorced? Look, let's not, look. Now I'm going to sound like I'm a Stacey loyalist. Let's not pretend like we haven't heard someone get a divorce and end up rekindling shortly thereafter. I'm not saying that's what I 100% believe, but there's a small part of me saying, well, it's a possibility. Can we just play? Can we play? Nelson says, not Stacey sent Kemp half her check. I swear to you. Y'all already know how my integrity is set up. I cannot be bought. Okay. And she has not reached out to me I will say this, Stacey has never reached out, even before the whole unfollowing and whatnot. She never tried to influence, because there are some housewives that will try to befriend me, but really try to influence how I view them on the show. I will give Stacey her credit. She was just nice. And she was like, oh, when you're in, maybe when I came to DC, she wanted to do something like that, but she never did. She never did. And then when she came on stage, I was like, I kind of like you, Stacey, but you know, I love an Aries woman. She's an Aries woman. I love an Aries woman. Taria's an Aries woman. Danielle's an Aries woman. My friend Isha's an Aries woman. And there's a lot of Aries women around me. I like an Aries woman. So I was like, oh, I'm going to bring this woman into the fold. Another Aries. But those Aries women don't. Never mind. I'm not going to harp on the bad breath. I'm not going to, because I don't like what they're doing with it. And again, that was not my experience with Stacey. She was lovely. She was stunning in person. I mean, I couldn't see her ears. The hair was over the ears, but that's okay. I don't need, look, y'all forget that I have small ears. Look, let me put my ears out. It's okay. Okay, can y'all focus? I know, I'm excited to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac with you guys. I couldn't even wait, okay? I was like, oh, maybe I'll do it tomorrow because I was busy today. But nope, here I am. Here I is. Candace, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Candace says, Kempire talking about bad breath at the same time I put a mint in my mouth. Look, here's the thing. Let me tell y'all something right now. If y'all ever meet me, but that's the thing. When I do the meet and greets, when I do the live shows, I always make sure I have gum, a mint, that kind of thing. Or I just go brush my teeth. But please understand, but I think my friends, like these Aries women that are around me, they would tell me if my breath stank, right? Look, no good. Look, good. But again, it is a condition. So I feel like they're talking about her condition. Okay. Stacey, brush your tongue. Ms. Parker, thank you so much for the super chat. And for being a member. Ms. Parker says, Stacey lies with respect and kindness. Hashtag lie with a smile. Hashtag still I rise. Stacey, look, beyond her lying about the TJ of it all, Stacey actually is a good housewife. And remember, we called her the Palo Santo of last season. And to me, she really held her own with everyone coming at her. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the journalism training. I don't know if it's the QVC training. But I don't know if it's just because she's an Aries. She holds herself together, but she's also very clever and clocking these girls in the moment. And I'm like, okay, Stacey, I feel like Stacey's going to get better with time. I'm kind of hoping Karen will come back because I think Karen will align herself with Stacey. I'm hopeful. Mrs. Green, look, we're never going to get to any of these notes, but thank you, Mrs. Green, for the super chat. I appreciate it. Mrs. Green says they need to leave Stacey alone. Her hubby is fine too. I mean, he's okay. He's okay. I get what you're saying. Like, he was a strong, silent type, so that can be attractive. Her hubby is fine too, and there may have been many liars on RHOP that they did not hold to the fire. Stop it, just Ashley. Exactly when they mentioned, oh, you know, in this group, we hold people accountable. Since when? When Jizzy said that, I was like, this group is not about accountability. Because if that was true, y'all would have talked about colorism a couple of seasons ago during that reunion. This group of women are definitely not about accountability. The only person that I think that really, for the most part, will hold themselves accountable or will hold them accountable would be Dr. Wendy. I'm not calling her Dr. Wendy anymore. I'm calling her Wendy. Wendy. You'll know why in a second. Taurus with the T, thank you so much for the super chat. Taurus with the T says, and for being a member. Taurus with the T says, Ashley, who lied for a nasty ex-husband, should not talk. Exactly. Like, Ashley wants to sit here and act like she hasn't lied about that man and made excuses for that man. Go on. And if we really believe that Ashley got anything out of that divorce, of his $20 million net worth, she wants us to believe that she didn't get sucker punched in that divorce. Because you saw everyone's reaction last season. I don't believe that Ashley got much out of that divorce besides that home. At least the home, though, is what? Do you guys remember in the chat how much the home is worth? Isn't the home worth like $2 million or something like that, or $1 million, or a little bit over $1 million? Ashley did not get any big old percentage besides that house and some child support. She's like, there were some investments that involved. She's trying to change the narrative. I don't believe Ashley is fine, because if Ashley was fine, Homegirl would not be on this show. If Ashley was fine, like if she had really got a bag, Ashley would not be on this show. She did not. Taurus says, Ashley, who lied for a nasty ex-husband, should not talk. We will not forget the season 4 of it all. Jizzy also lied about being with Jamal, season 5. Jizzy has lied about a few things. This is why I say I think it's laughable that they want to talk about being held accountable. Stacey, I know you're watching, girl. They don't hold themselves accountable in this group. They're lying. They're lying about lying. All right, let me focus, guys, and I'll get back to your super chats and your comments and things like that. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. You can also hear our live recaps and special episodes on the Kempire podcast. Make sure you subscribe today if you haven't already. And while you're there, don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Speaking of the podcast, I will drop by the Humble Brag podcast with Cynthia Bailey and Crystal Kung Minkoff. If you missed it, make sure you go check it out here on YouTube, but also check it out on your favorite podcast platforms. And as always, go leave a comment like, I love Kempire when he comes by, something like that. Okay. All right. So our community is in the building. Okay. So back to Gizelle's build a home. So the group reacts to Karen going to jail. So everyone comes to Gizelle's home to catch up and react to Karen going to jail. And they all feel sorry for Karen. And look, they know Karen, and I think we all feel sorry for Karen. But at the same time, Gizelle says this, she needs Karen to take accountability because this is her 4th DUI. And this is where Ashley, under her breath, says, Thomas Jefferson's concubine. And look, I don't love Ashley, but Karen, you put yourself in this position. I don't know if that footage would have even seen the light of day if you had just admitted your guilt and did not take this to court. I don't know if we would have even seen that footage. I don't think we would have seen that footage. But you decided to fight this, and that was exposed in court. And that was posted on social media. But Ashley is no one's friend. I told you this last season, Stacey. Ashley is no one's friend. You see who is Ashley loyal to? She's not loyal to anyone. Even with Monique coming back this season, she was never loyal to Monique either. Yeah. There were moments where she would like, oh, I'm gonna write this letter for Monique. But she was also friendly with Candace. And I'm like, she's loyal to no one. The only person that she's probably been the most loyal to is Gollum. That's probably the only person she's ever really been loyal to. And she probably was only loyal to him because he was paying the bills. And even then, she turned on him after they got divorced. So anyway. Okay, let me focus. So Ashley questions Stacey about TJ. So we have this next scene where Ashley's getting ready for her second bloom. Okay. Stacey was like, did we miss the first bloom? I'm asking too. So Ashley questions Stacey about the TJ of it all. Oh, wait, rewinding back. So back to them confronting. Oh no, this is that. I was just make sure my notes weren't mixed up. So Ashley at Gizelle's home questions Stacey about TJ. Stacey denies paying TJ, and she says that he's remorseful. Stacey should be a politician, okay? He says, like, I've spoken to TJ, and I did not pay TJ. And she's like, and he was remorseful. He wanted to come on and clear things up. Keiarna claims that Stacey wanted to be on the show. She says, you know, I heard that you wanted to be on the show. Stacey clocked Keiarna, and I was just like, damn, Keiarna, not you getting clocked by Stacey. Okay. So Stacey, when she says, I've heard that you've always wanted to be on the show. Stacey's like, I've been on TV. I've been on TV for years. Like she has the calmness that would annoy someone that is not calm. And they're just like, you're lying. She's like, I've been on TV. She said the same thing to me, though, when we were on stage in DC. Remember DC crew? She said, I've been on TV. And she's like, I know that's a sensitive topic for you. So let me tell you what she means by that. And I don't know if this is exactly what she means, but this is what I've dissected what Stacey meant. Stacey was basically breaking the fourth wall and clocking Keiarna. I know you want to be on this show. I know you're desperate to be on this show. And if you watch this season premiere, then you're all probably feeling a way about Keiarna. The way that Keiarna was just like, I mean, I heard that you've been trying to get on this show for years. She's like, I've been on television for years. And then they flashed her back when she was on QVC. Remember, she was also on Fox, on the Fox DC News channel. Not Fox News, but, the local DC news there. She's like, I've been on TV for years. Look, I've been on TV for years. And then she looks at the camera. I've been on TV for years. And I know that's a sensitive topic for you. Whack her again. Whack her again, Stacey. Wow. Whack her again. Damn, Stacey. But look, you could tell Keiarna must have gotten a talking to. Keiarna felt like she had something to prove in this episode. I just don't think it's landing, Keiarna. But Keiarna, follow me. Don't go yet, girl. Don't go yet. Okay. So Stacey says that in her confessional, she says Keiarna all of a sudden has a personality. All right. All of a sudden she has a personality. I like how they were breaking the fourth wall in this conversation that they were having at Gizelle's house, because they were talking about the reunion. They were talking about the show. I was like, I like that they're breaking the fourth wall. Stacey, because she said, you guys should be able to understand about a man embarrassing you. And then Gizelle was like, I don't know nothing about that. I don't know anything about that. And Stacey looks her dead in the eye and she's like, Gizelle, you haven't been humiliated by a man? I'm sorry. Because Gizelle want to sit here and act like she just want to be a puppeteer. She doesn't want to be the focus. And Stacey whacked her. And she was like, Gizelle, you haven't been humiliated by a man? Gizelle has been humiliated by a man in the worst way, probably worse than any of the women that were in that room. By any of the women in that room. Gizelle has been humiliated in the worst way by a man, and then she humiliated herself by bringing that said man back on the show and pretended that she got back with this man that humiliated her years ago. But when Stacey said, you have never been humiliated by a man, Gizelle? Get her, Stacey. Get her. I mean, get her. Just saying. So then things start to get contentious because Gizelle talks about accountability. And she's like, accountability is what we do in this group. She said, this is what this group is about. Lies and more lies. So this is when things get heated. And Stacey is just like, I'm not dealing with this. And she gets up and she leaves. She storms out. Okay. That's the only critique I would say for Stacey. You can't get up and leave. You got to face the music. That's not a good thing when doing Housewives, that you're constantly leaving scenes. Okay. And this is probably why, according to sources, that she gets alienated during the season. But look, we're riding with you right now, Stacey. We see what they're doing. They're focusing and I'm not saying that they shouldn't ask Stacey questions as part of the job of doing reality television. However, it's starting to feel like nothing that Stacey does could be right with them. Also, I feel like they are harping on everything about Stacey. Everything. So Gizelle and Ashley reveal when they were at, I think it was like the Ebony event, and they claimed that this well-known actress, do we know who this actress is? Have we figured it out? And part of me feels like this actress is messy, because why is what's happening with TJ any of your business? And apparently this is her best friend, but it just feels weird that you're like, oh, I don't know. It just feels messy, unnecessarily messy, unless she's trying to get her next gig to be on Real Housewives of Potomac. You might be surprised. You know how some of these roles in Hollywood, people are fighting for them and people not getting paid. So they're like, the next best thing is reality television. Well, apparently to this actress, she showed screenshots. She showed screenshots that TJ is suing Stacey and claims that Stacey was supposed to give him 50% of her Potomac check. That's where she lost me. I was like, 50%? I haven't seen the court docs. I'm assuming they probably settled this out of court. I don't even think this went anywhere, because you notice how he's been quiet. She settled that real quick. Whatever happened with her and TJ, she settled that up real quick. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was a settlement, there was an NDA, and you won't see TJ talk about it ever again. If Stacey fixed her mouth to tell TJ, I'll give you 50% of my check, I can already hear what Stacey would say to me if I asked her that. She's like, Kempire, do you think, I'm a very smart woman, do you think that I would ever do something or agree to something like that? And I'd be like, I would hope not, Stacey, but you also told me that that was your boyfriend. And you lied about that. I don't believe that was your boyfriend, Stacey. Okay, I don't believe that was your boyfriend. Hey, Nucie's here. We're usually part of the replay crew, but here, watching from Chicago, I'm late per usual. It's okay. I feel like I'm just getting to the beginning of this episode. I am, literally. So that is the tea on Stacey. Apparently, she's being sued for 50% of her check from Bravo. Okay, let's say she made, because the newbies, I believe they said the New York newbies made like $150,000 for the season. So he wanted somewhere in that range, he wanted maybe like 75,000 from her. I don't know about that, y'all. I can't imagine her agreeing to something like that. All right. So speaking of Stacey and her ex-husband, so apparently they are rekindling their relationship. So we see the scene. She comes in. He's already there at, I guess, one of their favorite restaurants. She looks stunning. And honestly, when you look at their scene, even though it was short, I felt the sexual attraction from him. And mind you, could barely, it wasn't a long moment. I felt more attraction from him than we got from TJ looking at Stacey. Okay. So apparently they did file for divorce. The divorce went through in December. She says that they spent Christmas together for her daughter, Arabella. And so they looked at each other. They got the notification that their divorce was finalized. They looked at each other and feelings changed. They're like, oh my God, we're divorced. I'm not saying that she could be lying, but I feel like that's not unheard of, where people that have been together for a very long time, look, we were just talking about this with Todd and Alexia on Real Housewives of Miami, but Stacey and her husband were together almost 20 years. So I'm not saying it's impossible. I think when you lie to the audience in such a way, people find it hard to believe anything that you say or do. I'm going to keep an open mind because it's not as if they weren't married for a very long time. I know Ashley says she can't find their divorce in the system. Well, we're still trying to find regular Robin's marriage in the system. Speaking of regular Robin, I guess I can spill this tea here because I already spilled it while I was on the summer tour. So for this season, according to multiple resources or sources, regular Robin was in talks to return this season before Monique as a friend of. However, Robin wanted to be allegedly full-time. So they only offered her a friend of contract. And she's like, nah, man, if I'm gonna lie to y'all about my relationship, I need a full-time check. So apparently regular Robin was being considered for this new season. Again, they knew they were going to have a season without Karen. They probably trying to pull out all the stops. And this was way before Monique started filming. I heard this tea, oh my gosh, I think they had they started filming yet? I don't even know if they had started filming yet. I can't remember now. But if they did, it was like very early on. It was very early on. Okay. So, speaking of regular Robin, the reason why I thought of her, because I thought to myself, like a small percentage of myself, let's say this situation with Stacey and her husband is not real. I wouldn't be surprised if the husband says, okay, I will film with you. I'll pretend that we're getting back together because you're the mother of my children. We've talked about that with Gizelle and Pastor Jamal Bryant. I was like, okay, that's the mother of my children. We were married. I'll film with you. I'll pretend like we're getting back together. I wouldn't be shocked, but I have to say the way that her husband looked at her, I was like, I think he's still in love with her. But again, we're watching an edited show. I don't know, but looking at the way that he was looking at her, I was like, this could be real. It could be, but we'll see. We shall see. And then maybe next season we'll have a wedding. Next season we'll have a wedding. I'm here for it. Stacey's going to recycle everyone's storyline. That's what she's going to do. She's going to take everyone's storyline from different cities. She took Kenya's storyline last season. This season, she's taking Gizelle's storyline. Next season, which season? Whose storyline should she take? I'll come back. I'll get back to you on that one. You guys let me know. If you're part of the replay crew, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to let us know your thoughts and opinions on the season 10 premiere of The Real Housewives of Potomac. Mods, can you let me know how many likes we've gotten so far? Because, I am streaming from the StreamYard, so I don't get to see all that stuff. Torsten T, thank you so much. I think I read that, right? Torsten T. Yes, I did. Thank you so much for the super chat. Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat. Kendra says, what's Ashley's storyline now that she's divorced? We know this prenup. We know his prenup good. Gizelle is still giving I peaked in high school energy. Not today, Nick. They have nothing else going on. So that's why she had to have her balloon party. And she's going to be dressing up in drag again this year. She's also going to be singing this year. I'm telling you right now, I'm just going to skip over those scenes. Ms. Rose, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Ms. Rose says, Karen's not going to forget Stacey throwing her under the bus. Why would Ashley leave RHOP? That's an easy check to be messy. Not like her singing career is going to take off. I mean, you got a good point. Look at Candy. She stayed for a very long time. Yeah, that was an easy $1 million check, multi-million-dollar check. Mr. Mellon Magic, thank you for the super chat and for being a member. Mr. Mellon says, the well-known actor was a to-be star. That's what I was about to say. I was like, it's probably not that well-known. They love to throw that around. Kendra, thank you for another super chat. Kendra says, y'all, I thought TJ was the dad from Smart Guy. He was on Sister though years ago. That's when he was fine. I mean, he's not a bad-looking guy today either. But maybe he should cut the hair off because it kind of I don't like the haircut. Scotty, thank you so much for the super chat. Scotty says, didn't think you'd be coming to us today. I gotta pause you to watch the actual show. Stacey would take Karen's storyline clank. No, don't wish that on her, Scotty. Don't wish that on her. No. Take that as your storyline 10 years from now, maybe. Lauren says the show needs Candace back. Candace just announced that she's launching a podcast. It makes me wonder. I don't believe that Candace was fired. But I also believe that Candace wanted to document her birth and child. But they never went with that. And she's going to be on Traitors this season. So she's in a good relationship with the network. So it makes me, I understood why she didn't come back while she was pregnant. I understood that completely. It makes me wonder, did they not offer her, though, a return for this past season? Because to be honest with you, and I know what happened between Candace and Monique was really serious and very divisive for the fans. I would love to see those two make up. Because I will tell you this, Monique making up with Gizelle feels inauthentic. I know we haven't seen it yet, but I'm just saying it wasn't that long ago where they were shading each other. So I don't know if I 100% believe that it's authentic, that they're in a good place. And we'll see for how long. I don't even know if we're going to see Monique return next season, to be honest with you. I think Monique is going to come in and, sell a couple of essential oils and then keep it moving. And I think she's working on a book too. So I think that's why Monique is here. She didn't even go to the premiere party. They had a premiere party. She wasn't there. I guess busy again? I don't know. Was it a school night? Probably. Look. I'm going to give her grace. She does have young kids. Okay. All right. Let's move on from there. So Stacey has dinner with her ex-husband. She talks about them rekindling after they finalized their divorce, and they sort of looked at each other and they're like, are we really over? They have agreed not to tell Bella because that would be far too confusing to tell her that they're back together. I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see by the end of the season what Gizelle finds out on, because she's digging. What will be revealed at the reunion when it comes to is her relationship with the ex-husband real? Do you think that the ex-husband would be okay with Stacey kissing TJ? I guess he probably would be okay if she just told him, we're acting, or he's definitely not interested in me. Maybe. I don't know. So Keiarna and her mom at her new condo. So as you know, Keiarna told us during the reunion that she got a new condo, which made everyone go like, wait, so you moved out from Greg? She did. And after she moved out, apparently that put some smoke under Greg's butt for him to take them serious. So he tells her, let's go to Jamaica and talk. So she went to her Europe city. Because now I'm starting to think the Europe city that she was talking about last season wasn't, because I told you I went to the Instagram. I was like, I don't see no Europe cities in this Instagram. So maybe her Europe cities, maybe she thinks when she goes to some of the Caribbean islands that were once colonized, maybe she thinks, just saying. So they go to Jamaica and they rekindle their relationship. And her mother has concerns. I think we all have concerns because I don't think anything has changed with Greg. But girl, you like it, we love it for you. I'm just not interested in seeing it this season play out. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear this season that they're engaged. I honestly, there were some red flags that a lot of you pointed out before I could see them. And then by the end of the season, I was like, look. And then when she mentioned that they had broken up and then they got back together, I'm like, okay, girl, you like it, I love it, but is he going to be filming with us this season? I mean, he didn't film in this first part. I will say this, Keiarna's stunning, her mother's stunning. Those are beautiful, beautiful women. Beautiful gowns. Beautiful gowns, okay? All right, so that was a quick scene. Wendy at home with her family. So Happy Eddie is doing very well. The business is doing very well. It's expanding to New Jersey. It's now in 3 different states. Fantastic. All right. As you know, there was that rumor, and we found out the rumor is true because Stacey has now launched it. That's what is it called? Spacey Stacey is coming to the. I don't understand why Stacey couldn't. I guess maybe at the time she couldn't announce it because it wasn't finalized. But even if it wasn't finalized then, when Wendy said to her, Stacey, I would hope you would tell me. I was like, I mean, she doesn't really need to tell you this. There are so many weed businesses out there. You know what I mean? So, like, to me, her starting her own weed business, who cares? There's enough room for everyone, but maybe not in Wendy's head. You know what people have said. Just saying. Did you guys notice how when her daughter was like, "Oh, I want to be a doctor like mommy," and then her son was like, "You're not a doctor," and she's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Yes, your mom is a doctor." But Dr. Wendy, we'll call her Dr. Wendy now. She was triggered by that because some people say, especially certain cultures, be like, "That's not a real doctor. You're not a medical doctor." That's why I think that's what the son was meaning. Like, "Oh, you're not a medical doctor." That's what he was thinking. But does he not know his mother has a doctorate? Well, I guess he learned that day. And they kept that in. All right. So let's get to this other scene. So Ashley's prepping for her second bloom. All right. So this is where we find out that Gollum is worth $20 million, allegedly. I think he's worth a lot more because if we did a separate video on Gollum not years ago, maybe couple of years ago, talking about the land that he owns in Africa. So his net worth, maybe in the States, is $20 million, but the land he owns in Africa makes us go, he might be worth a whole lot more. But, Ashley's not that smart, so she's not. Apparently, though, she's gone to Africa with him. So she says she wanted to cash in some of the investments that she had with Michael. And she claims that she did all right in their settlement. Did y'all notice that the headline that they shared? I don't think that was a real headline. I think they made that headline. The editors are getting very creative on Real Housewives of Potomac. I was like, I'm trying to remember because I know there was a headline I was like, that's not a real headline. They just made that headline. But anyway, so she said that she did okay in the divorce. I'm just saying the way that she said it, I was like, she did not. I think she wanted to counteract the amount of people that dragged her. You went through all of this. You were with that man. You thought that you were going to make all this kind of money when you divorced him. You stayed married to him for this amount of time and you got nothing in it. I think she wants to change the narrative that she didn't get anything in that divorce. The way the fashions are giving is definitely giving you didn't get much. The wig in this episode, oh, Lord, Ashley. You might want to pull it forward a little bit more. Pull it forward a little bit more, Ashley, please. Goodness. All right. So Ashley meets up with Stacey, and she confronts Stacey again. And she says, this well-known actress shared screenshots of legal docs that TJ is suing you. So I'm paying attention to Stacey's body language. Oh, you're good, Stacey. There seems to be a little bit of a worry in her eye, but she doesn't falter because Stacey is a pro. Okay. So there's these court docs that TJ's suing her. Stacey deflects and says that I've forgiven TJ. Okay. And we've both moved on. Politician. I love this for her though. Stacey says that she says that the actress and these documents are imaginary. And Ashley's like, no, they're not. This actress is, and then she says the actress's name, but they beep it out, so we don't know who she said. We're the lip readers. We're not lip readers here. We're body language experts. We're the lip readers. Does anyone know? Someone said she's a Tubi actress. Shout out to Tubi. Tubi is probably the most streamed, like the biggest streaming platform that there is. I mean, you ain't gonna find me on it. I was on the Tubi doc though, the TMZ Tubi doc. So I've been on Tubi technically. All right. Let me see. So things get heated between Stacey and Ashley in this conversation. And Ashley says, everyone thinks that you're fake, Stacey. And Ashley says, and you're divorced. Well, I can't find your divorce doc. When you look my divorce up, it comes up in Virginia's directory. And Stacey's like, you're a mother of two. You have time to be Googling me? And then she says in her confessional, which is so funny to me, she said, instead of Googling me, Ashley should be Googling a voice coach. Boom. Stacey, for me, was the MVP of this episode. Anyone else? She was the MVP of the episode for me. Because she handled, everybody was coming for her. And she was just like, you're a mother of two. You don't have anything better that you do than to be Googling me? And then her confessional, she looks straight into the camera and she's like, Ashley should be Googling a voice coach. I don't think a voice coach is going to help her though, Stacey. I don't think it's going to help her. Okay? It's not going to help her at all. So this is where Stacey walks out of the conversation. The conversation gets heated and she walks out of the conversation again. And this is where Ashley takes another dig at Stacey's breath. Damn, Stacey. I hope you're very conscious of it now. I didn't smell anything, Stacey, when you were right next to me, Stacey. But like I said, someone else did that night. It's all right though. I got your back, Stacey. I got your back. See, if I had, and we were cool, I would have been like, Stacey, here, take this gum. No, don't turn it down. When people offer you a breath mint or gum, never turn it down. Look, if I see Stacey in person again, I'm like, I'm gonna keep a good distance. Play it. We have a good time here, Stacey. Calm down. We do it in love. All right. Gizelle. Gizelle's an empty nester, so she's talking about updating us on what's going on in her life. Absolutely nothing. This is why she's so focused on being a puppeteer. Okay. So Gizelle FaceTimes with Ashley, and Ashley updates her on the conversation that she had with Stacey. And so she mimics Stacey and how Stacey talks. Ashley, people think you kind of talk, you don't talk exactly like Stacey, but you do kind of have a funny way of talking too. Just saying, like you sitting here trying to make fun of Stacey, and now all of a sudden you're now the lapdog to Gizelle because Gizelle doesn't have regular Robin anymore. So now she's got Ashley with the bunions. I'm only saying this because these are things that were said on the show, y'all. I'm not body shaming. Okay. So she mimics Stacey. Ashley then tells Gizelle, and I can't even find her divorce online. So Giselle's like, she's not even divorced? Y'all want to sit here and act like you're holier than thou, like you both lied here on this show. And look, I'm not an expert in divorce docs. I know usually you're able to find divorces online. However, you can't always find everyone. And I don't know the legal mumbo jumbo in regards to maybe having that sealed where you don't see it. I don't know. There could be a reason why we can't find it. And here's the other element too. He has family. She has family. I'm sure all of them would be like, you guys got a divorce? But okay. All right. Fast forward. Let's get to Angel and Keiarna hanging out. So Angel and Keiarna. So Angel's the newest housewife. So Angel apparently is from Potomac. I like Angel's personality so far because she seems down to earth. She seems cool. She seems laid back. I feel like for a first timer, she seemed natural on camera, unlike Keiarna. Sorry, Keiarna, I gotta be honest. Because Keiarna just always feels a little stiff. Beautiful gowns. But, and honestly, like her confessional looks already this season, beautiful when I'm talking about Keiarna. Angel is from that area, but they had moved away. Her and her fine husband moved away because he was a part of the NFL. So he's now retired, and now they're both from the DMV, which is nice to have on this cast, genuine people that are from the area. So Keiarna and Angel have known each other since they were like 18 years old. Apparently, Angel was like a journalist. She's done multiple things, and they've worked together on multiple things. They've been business partners before as well. But now her and her husband own a luxury like wilderness company. It was giving very like, the Cosby Show. But no, this is a luxury business. It's actually successful. It's not like Sandra and Elvin. But that's what it was giving for me. I was like, y'all got a little wilderness store? But it's like a luxury business. And they were going to bring that business to Maryland. So she talks a little bit about that business, okay? Her and Keiarna so Angel knows a bunch of the women. She knows Wendy. She wasn't friends with Wendy, but they kind of knew each other from, the same college. Which is interesting to me because I'm trying to remember when I was in college, if I knew like the freshman when I was the senior. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, really? But apparently they did know of each other. And some of that's emphasized for the show to show that there's a connection between the women. But I'm not even paying attention to the camera, y'all. Not a tour guide. I don't think it's a tour. A girl has no name says not the wilderness story. That's what it kind of reminded me of. Okay. Hey, it's Brooklyn Diamond. Miss Brooklyn says, according to Wendy, she knows of her. But she knew as soon as she saw her face, it wasn't giving, Nene and Phaedra. As soon as she saw her face, she was just like, oh my God. So she knew who she is. They weren't friends, which I can appreciate. They just knew of each other. Foxy says, can we please get to 500 likes? Kemp is on his vacay and still makes time to recap RHOP for us. Thank you, Foxy. Ebony says that Wendy is fake. We're going to talk about that in a second. Thank you so much, Tasman, for being a member for 30 months. Tasman says, but Kemp, Ashley's party seemed deluxe. It's giving divorce settlement. The party definitely was beautiful. I'm not going to take away from that. I think the party was definitely beautiful. And I like the idea, especially when you think about this show, it's always celebrating flowers and spring. So this was actually a perfect premiere party show. Anyway, so apparently Angel has an association to Wendy, but she also has an association to Ashley. Apparently Ashley was one of her bottle girls. Not Angel's a pimp. No, she's not a pimp. But apparently she worked for Angel as a bottle girl. That's important to note because it comes up later. Okay. So they go on their walk. Keiarna and Angel go on their walk. And Keiarna brings up that she has some issues with Wendy because they went to this event and Wendy, she said that the way that Keiarna describes it to Angel doesn't sound the same way that she described it to Wendy when they had the conversation at the bloom party. Because when she describes it to Angel, it seems as if they walked into the same room. Wendy was sitting down somewhere at this event and Wendy was acting like she didn't know her. I'm so glad they flashed back because remember who was here when I recapped and they mentioned what Wendy said about like, I'm not sharing a room with Keiarna. And I said, that was an interesting statement to say about your friend. Remember we talked about that and I was like, So I'm so glad, shout out to the editors and production for bringing that back up. Cause I was like, that's just a thing to keep in the back of your mind. Cause I do believe Keiarna is reaching a bit. But when y'all go to the Brooke Ashley's recap and Brooke Ashley tells you a little bit more about Wendy, it might make you look at the situation with Keiarna a little differently. And if you came to the Kempire After Dark New York City show or you got the live stream, you probably already are looking at Wendy like, Yonette says, yes, nobody wants to share on a cash trip. No. It wasn't like that. But remember, I remember us pointing it out. Like, that was weird how she said that. But they brought it up again. And mind you, they brought it up again for a reason. So Keiarna shares to Angel some of the way that she's been feeling about Wendy. And she said that there have been a few incidents both on and off camera. It's also important to note what they share on camera. I do feel like Keiarna is reaching or she's not able to really express the moments, unfortunately for her, because it does feel like girl, really? Really? And I saw that she's doing IG Lives on Sundays too. It feels like damage control, Keiarna. But I'm going to give you grace because of what I know. Not just because of what the Brooke Ashley told at my live show, but what I've heard from behind the scenes from other people that have interacted with Wendy. We've hinted at it before over the years since Wendy's been on the show. So I kind of like when I'm listening to Keiarna talk about it, I'm like, Keiarna, I feel like you're reaching with your examples, but I think I kind of know what you're trying to say, but the way the edit is landing is not landing. But I'm going to wait. Maybe there's more. Oh, it's 11:11 where you are, Latavia. You know I love an angel number. Miss Rose says that is what it is. Keiarna isn't good at expressing herself. Samira says exactly. Recognize says, I feel Wendy, I'm not sharing a room at my big age. I'm trying to remember because I don't remember the episode. I feel like a few people were sharing rooms though. Because didn't Wendy, I can't remember now. I don't quote me, but I remember it happening and I said, that was interesting. Yannette says, Wendy is always guarded. She always seems to wait to see who's coming for who. I mean, I feel like a lot of people are like that with the show. Okay. Coca says, are you going to watch the wife swap show? If I have time. I'm not prioritizing more Bravo shows. Just say, and don't ask me if I'm going to recap it either. Probably not. If anything, I might talk about it on the podcast. That's why you should subscribe. All right. Deborah, she was sick. And I think that's how we justified it. And I'm like, but remember, we still said, I was like, that was an interesting statement. Remember? I think we rationalized it back when it happened. But now that they brought it up again, I'm like, One M Beauty says, Kay was definitely reaching for sure. I was confused. But did you hear the tea from the New York City show? Who here heard the tea from the New York City show? And because you heard that tea, you're kind of giving Keiarna a little bit of grace. Just saying. Why is Charisse always in the mix looking a mess? Well, Charisse really is a socialite. Not only is she at these events that you see on Potomac, she really is at these events in Potomac. Nelson says, I'm giving Kay some grace because Nelson saw the live stream. Okay. Hold on. I'm losing my comments here. Real House Husband says, no, that production was being shady. What grown women share a room together? But weren't a bunch of them sharing rooms during that trip? And I know usually that's an issue, but like I said, I would have to go back and watch what we said back then. It stood out to me. And when they showed it again, I was like, I did find that to be interesting. But okay, it's all right. Again, based on what we saw in this episode, I don't agree with Keiarna in regards to the examples that she gave. I was like, this is giving like a reach. But remember, what she said to Angel versus what she says to Wendy later are different. They're a little different. All right. Let's get to the event, Ashley's Bloom Party. So Gizelle introduces us to Tia, her friend. Apparently, Gizelle and Tia met at some of these Sotheby's events. No, y'all didn't. That's just a story. Maybe Gizelle randomly went. I don't see Gizelle at any Sotheby's events. Okay, I think that is just the story they're going with to introduce Tia to us. They probably met at one event because I don't see Gizelle. You going to look really? No. So Tia is a high-end real estate agent, but she's also a royal. She comes from a royal family in Nigeria. Her mother is Her Royal Highness. Okay, her grandfather is a prince. So technically, she is a princess. I was like, oh. And they throw back to a picture where they got the Corvettes in the driveway. So she comes from a very different lifestyle. I'm here for it. I was like, okay. I'm watching, though. I'm going to watch her interactions with Wendy. Because, the whole narrative between Wendy and Nneka. And, they said that Wendy only wanted one Nigerian on the show. I'm watching. I didn't say I believe that. I see Nneka is still hanging around this crew, hoping to be on the show. Not happening. Nneka looks good, though. She just had a baby. All right. So Stacey arrives, and she says in her confessional, "The Lord never ceases to amaze me in how he inspires me to be the bigger person," because she's showing up to Ashley's event despite Ashley constantly coming for her. But I had to write that down because I was like, this lady is the Donald Trump of Potomac. She said, "The Lord never ceases to amaze me in how he inspires me to be the bigger person." Stacey, "The Lord never ceases to amaze me in how he inspires me to be the bigger person." Okay, girl. All right. Lavender says, "Stacey is kooky. It's funny for now." I agree. I'm keeping that open too, Lavender. Like, it's funny right now. Hey, Chioma. Hold on. Where's Chioma comment go? Melissa, roll her eyes on Facebook. Mr. Mellon said, "I don't want to like Stacey, but she has a factor that I like, unfortunately." Just come on over to the dark side, Mr. Mellon Magic. Come on over to the dark side. Okay? Just come on over. Miss Rose, thank you for the super chat. Miss Rose says that Kay is reaching, but she's not wrong. I'm giving her a little bit of grace. The examples that she used were definitely a reach. We're definitely reaching. We're going to talk about that in a second. Tasman, thank you for another super chat. Tasman says, "I do think Wendy is a bit fake, but Kay was also reaching for a moment." I agree. If she and Wendy are girls, she should have checked her off camera. I'm going to wait to see how this plays out. I definitely agree. I do believe Keiarna was reaching, but we'll get to the Keiarna of it again because we have a conversation that happens. Heather, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, wait, no, for being a member for 18 months. Kay was reaching like she was reaching for a ring. Ooh! Not reaching for a ring. Ooh. Okay. All right, I'm feeling stuffy all of a sudden, y'all. Hold on, let me take some water. Okay. So we have this moment where Ashley's introduced. So there's pyrotechnics. It was like the Charlie Kirk Memorial. The pyrotechnics of it all that were coming out. Ashley's coming down the stairs like she's about to fall because she can barely walk in her dress. And then she gives a speech. Well, first of all, the way they introduced her as a duchess. Duchess where? Stacey's like, "Did they say duchess?" Wendy laughs. Angel, in her confession, she's like, "From bottle girl to duchess." I love a come-up story. Something about Angel's energy, and take this in the best way. It's the good part of regular Robin that I liked. There's something very like down to earth, very just straightforward in a way. I mean, when she introduced herself, she said, sometimes people think that she's the B word because, she has like resting B face. And I was like, something about her. But when she said that, I almost fell out. She said, "From bottle girl to duchess." I love a come up story. Ooh. So Ashley has her introduction. She does this speech. She says, "I know I went from a beauty queen and philanthropist to restaurateur." And I was like, when was she a philanthropist? Okay, and when was she a beauty queen? I mean, we know she did pageants and stuff like that, but okay. And we remember the restaurant that her husband bought her, but it's okay. She was a restaurateur, y'all. She ain't never did it again, though. All right, fine. So Wendy and Keiarna sit down to have their own conversation. What do you guys think of Wendy's dress? At first, like Wendy usually never gets it wrong. And the dress, I think, could be beautiful. It just felt like she felt awkward in it. It felt like she was constantly trying to like hold her top up because it was actually two parts. And Gizelle saw her. She's like, "Oh, I inspired this look because you want that." Mind you, the dress that Giselle was talking about, she ended up giving it to Wendy. Mind you, Wendy, you should have just wore that dress. That would have been nice. But it just was something about the dress that just, even though I felt like she was the best dressed of all the women, right? Yeah, she was the best dressed of all the women. And well, Keiarna's look, I liked Keiarna's look too. She had a little tiara on too. I liked Keiarna. Keiarna can dress. Beautiful gowns. That's why I call her Keiarna Beautiful Gowns Stewart. Okay. But there was something about Wendy's that felt a little like it wasn't comfortable for her to wear. You know what I mean? But I still think she looked beautiful. So Wendy and Keiarna had this conversation. So Keiarna says to Wendy that was being rude. Well, when Keiarna first came over and sat with Gizelle and Wendy, Keiarna was already in her feelings. She was like, "That you're being rude for not acknowledging." There's always more going on, guys, that we don't realize. So for Keiarna to jump and be sensitive to like, "Oh, you didn't address me," I feel like there's something more that happened here. Because it's not making sense. And I know sometimes we look at things and we're like, this doesn't make sense. You're just reaching. I do think she's reaching with her excuses. But her to immediately sit down, she's like, "Oh, you're being rude." Wait, where is this energy coming from? Where is this energy coming from? So, and then Wendy's just like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?" So she then says that Wendy's phony in their friendship. Wendy claims that the situation that Keiarna is describing, she's like, "I text you, I was hyping you up. I was like, yes, sponsor." So Keiarna says that at this event, Wendy never told her that she was going to be there. And I was like, okay, I kind of can see where you might be a little upset, but it's not a big deal. And then I thought to myself, when she says, "When you were on stage, you didn't acknowledge me." And I don't know the setup. I don't know if she was giving a speech, Wendy, or if there was like a table on stage and Wendy didn't, acknowledge her from the stage. So then that may be a little bit different, because when I saw the clip, I was like, Keiarna, why does she need, if she's on stage presenting or talking, or let's say she's a part of a panel, why does she have to recognize you in the audience? I don't know. Again, it feels like a reach. If I saw my friend in the audience, I see some of y'all in the audience when y'all come to my shows, and I'll be like, "Hey," you know what I mean? But not everyone's going to do that, and I don't think Wendy has to do that. Right, Sonia? There is something a little weird about that. Sonia says, "Weird for Wendy not to mention that she was speaking at the event." Yeah, there's a little, But again, would that be a big enough issue for me to be mad at you? I would just talk to you about it. Ms. Brooklyn says, Wendy said that she did tell her, but she didn't say that she was speaking because she didn't want to overtake Kay's shine. All possible. Ariana says, "I work on sponsorship. She should have known as a sponsor who is speaking." Well, not always. Not always. It depends. The event that she's talking about, if she was probably like one of many sponsors, she probably didn't know. She was probably just happy for the opportunity to be a sponsor at this event. So not necessarily, she could have, and again, we don't know the logistics, but maybe she expected her friend to tell her. All right. Again, either way, if she knew, she didn't know, I don't think it's that big of a deal if that Wendy didn't tell her. Wendy not telling her, I'm like, why not tell her? But okay. But again, I don't think it should be an issue to cause you guys to have a falling out this entire season. So, Ariana says they usually share that out to all sponsors unless it's a surprise guest. Well, Wendy, bring that to the reunion. You should have known that I was going to be there. Just saying. All right. Either way, I don't think that should be an issue. So they're getting into their conversation. Then she brings up when they were at the NAACP event and Wendy saw her, she says that Wendy looked at her and she's like, did you do your own makeup? And look, I know some people be like, well, that feels like, okay, now Keiarna, you're being a little finicky. You're being very picky. And then they show the picture of Keiarna at the event. Her face looked beautiful. I mean, I also don't think Keiarna needs a lot of makeup, but her makeup looked on point. Am I crazy to think that like nothing looked wrong with her makeup? And again, I'm gonna give Dr. Wendy some grace here. I don't know how she said it. Because she could have been like, wait, girl, did you do your own makeup? Meaning like, oh my gosh, you look good. Or she could say it in a shady way. Oh, did you do your own makeup? You know what I mean? Like, it's all about how it was said. But apparently, whatever way it was said got Keiarna in her feelings. Miss Melon Magic says that was shade but playful. Pretty Pink says that was a diss. Damn, someone said, wait, Okima says, I forgot Keiarna existed. Well, she's going to make sure you don't forget her this season. Okay. Rocky said, Rocky said, there's no good way to say it, Cap, in this context. I'm trying to give grace, okay? Sonia says, has Wendy forgotten how much of a hot mess she used to be? I mean, she wasn't that much of a hot mess. It was like that was her first season. Dee says that Kay is reaching. Quill says that Keiarna is reaching, honey. Again, we're not there. We're basing this off of what Keiarna said and what Wendy said. But Wendy seems completely shocked. And Wendy has done interviews where she said she feels like Keiarna is basically reaching, trying to have something with her when there really is nothing there. And based on the clips that I saw and based off of watching this episode, it feels that way. But like I said, if I didn't have the Brooke Ashley come on the live show and spill the tea about an incident that happened with her and Wendy recently, it kind of made like, oh, it really makes you look at the situation with Keiarna like, well, maybe there's more to this. We shall see, because I feel like this is going to play out for the rest of the season. I'm not sure if I like that, but, and like I said before, when Brooke Ashley told me her story, what we're seeing right now is not the first time that I've heard from people that have been around Wendy that have said similar things. And it could just be her personality. Okay? She is a Gemini. All right. Let's move on, because Ashley and Stacey, they end up having a conversation, okay? And she decides to bring up the fact that Stacey's breath, she brings up the fact that people's breath can stink. And then Stacey, she's like, are you talking about me? Does my breath stink now? First of all, let me put your breath in people's face, okay? So she says, my breath stink now? So they pull away from the rest of the group. It was Angel and Gizelle. And they have their own side conversation. And Ashley says that Stacey lies and tells her to get out of here with her 11 shoe. And then she's like, gallop away. Like, she looked ridiculous. First of all, why didn't you look the best at your event, Ashley? You looked probably one of the worst. And then you started doing this galloping situation. I was just like, I already told you how I feel about her trying to make fun of someone's shoe size. It's giving like, oh, you're not woman enough. You're not a woman unless you're a size what? 5? A size 5-foot shoe? And look, like I said, I've seen Ashley in person. I've seen Stacey in person. Both, well, I'll say Stacey was stunning. Ashley galloped. That's the thing. That's the funny thing about it. I remember seeing Ashley at the Fashion Bomb fashion show, the Bomb fashion show. Not the, I think it was not last year, maybe the year before, at their Bomb fashion show. And Ashley had that denim jacket on. And one thing I noticed when she stomped past me, I was like, well, actually galloping like that. So you want to be talking about someone galloping. You were galloping that day when you walked by me. I was like, why she walk like that? I was like, it stood out to me. So I thought it was funny. You talking about someone's galloping. You literally galloped in front of me. I was like, why she walk like that? But I said, look. She did, Teresa. Teresa said, not stomp at. She did with her little denim jacket on at a fashion show. I was like, girl, what is this? What is this you're wearing right now? Anyway, so she says that to Stacey. She's like, why don't you just gallop away? Okay. She actually says that if Stacey shares, because Tia comes over and she's like, what if she shares what if she shares the documents that prove that she's divorced? Will you be able to move on from this? And she's like, well, maybe if she shares it. No. And Stacey's like, I am not sharing anything. I don't think so. Why is it such a big deal for Stacey and for Ashley and Gizelle, whether or not Stacey has gotten her divorce, when we waited years for Ashley to get a divorce? And there was a lot of suspicion around her divorce. Like, are you really getting a divorce? Multiple reunions Andy Cohen had to ask about Ashley's divorce. So Ashley's just like, you came into this group and misrepresented yourself. Ashley, your husband, like, we haven't forgotten about you, your husband, your relationship with your husband. It felt like you guys misrepresented your relationship multiple times. Multiple times. One minute we're like, is it an open relationship? Next minute we're like, did y'all welcome people into the bedroom? Next minute we're like, is he grabbing people's butts? Da, da, da. Are they really getting a divorce? You have misrepresented. That's why it's so frustrating watching her and Gizelle come down on Stacey about her divorce. She's like, I got a divorce. Okay, the situation with TJ, we have moved on, and you should too. Okay, I don't understand why they're so focused on Stacey. Stacey hasn't done anything to you guys that could be detrimental to you, your family, or your business. She hasn't done anything, but they feel like this is what they're supposed to do, and this is just pulling away from whatever's going on in their life. Nothing's going on in their life. Nothing's going on in their life. And that's what it's feeling. Based off this episode, like, what are their storylines? Oh, she's in her second bloom. Girl, that flower is wilted. Okay, like the wig. The wig was wilted too. Just saying. All right. Ooh. Happy Sanford says, swingers, derbies. Enough already. All right. Calling for our members. If you're a member of the channel, I'm going to drop the calling for you guys on the post tab here on YouTube. If you haven't already, be sure to like the videos, an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Mods, can you just let me know how many likes we've gotten to and how many likes you would like me to ask the crew to get us to? We have over 1,000 of you watching, so we should have a lot of likes. All right, let me do the call-in link for our members. If you're a member of the channel, drop the call-in link. We're going to take some quick callers. Callers, you have to be brief because I do not have my timer in front of me or near me, and I cannot run and go get it, okay? So you have to be brief. You have to be brief. Unless I can get a timer over here. Okay, all right, 650 likes according to Foxy. Let's get to 650 likes. Rini says, the difference is because Stacey has lied repeatedly and so has Ashley and Gizelle. They want their storylines. Unfortunately, Stacey's falling into the trap. You think she's falling into the trap? I don't know if she's falling into the trap. I just wish she would not run away. But I do hear that they alienate her. I'm not surprised. Based on what we're seeing during the premiere episode, they're already setting this up for them to bully her the entire season. And honestly, it's turned into bullying because now you're harping on everything about her. You're talking about her shoe size. You're talking about her breath. You're talking about her car. You're talking about her relationship with TJ. Now you're talking about her. I just mentioned like 5 things that they harped on when it comes to Stacey. Focus on the one thing, the TJ of it all. Just saying. Oh, wait, we got a lot of people backstage. Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat. Kendra says, when Wendy acts snobby, I just go rewatch the clip of Karen imitating her slithering down the stairs. I'm okay with her being snobby. It's when you're mean to people. That's the other thing. And I'm saying that, and not based off of what Keiarna said. I'm saying that based off of what the Brooke Ashley is going to spill on her recap. So if you haven't watched her recap, I don't know if her recap's out yet, but I'm going to go watch it. She should be releasing it soon, or going live soon. Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat. Kendra says, remember second season when Ashley got mad when Robin pointed fingers in her face, yet she did it to Stacey, and Stacey was like, get your hands out my face. Can we all say hypocrite in the count of three? 1, 2, 3. Hypocrite. Everything that they said in this episode was hypocrite. They're talking about accountability. Accountability? Who's talking about accountability here? Hold on, y'all. Let me go grab my my timer because there's a bunch of y'all in this chat. So let me go grab my timer. I had to go grab my timer because I see quite a few of y'all, and some of y'all cannot manage yourselves, so I'm gonna have to manage it for you. Okay. Everyone said hypocrite. Exactly. Ocean's dream is that I trusted Brooke. But I told Brooke, when Brooke told me, I was like, I'm not surprised because I've heard stuff. And you see how I hear stuff and I just keep it to myself. I'm like, until it actually happens to someone like Brooke. All right. Let me see. Timer. So I'm going to, everyone's getting 30 seconds. Sorry, we have a long line and this is just for members. The members already filled up the bag. So, and I will drop the call link for everyone. How many likes did we get to? Did I miss that? But this is our Real Housewives of Potomac recap. If you're just joining us, we are talking about the new season of Potomac, which premiered last night. I'm traveling, but here I is. I am still here recapping it. You'll be able to hear the live recap on the Kempire podcast as well. Speaking of podcasts, I was on the Humble Brag with Cynthia Bailey and Crystal Kong Minkoff podcast today. You can watch it on YouTube, but you can also hear it on anywhere you get your podcast. Don't forget to go give it a like, a subscribe, let them know who sent you. We are talking about Real Housewives, and we talk about a bunch of other stuff about myself. We had a really great conversation. All right. And if you missed it, guys, I've recapped, even though I've been traveling, I've recapped everything. And I've given you updates on the Diddy story, Diddy sentencing on Friday. I've given you all kinds of updates while I've been away. But I've still been enjoying my trip. You guys know I'm good at balancing. It's late here, though. I guess I can't do anything else. I got to get dinner. I got to go get dinner. All right. Let's get into the Real Housewives of Potomac callers. Keep in mind, the opinions of the callers do not represent the opinions of the Kempire LLC, myself, or our sponsors, not Keiarna. Keiarna's not sponsoring today. Let me actually put up my disclaimer before I do any of that. If I can find my disclaimer. There we go. All right. Thank you, Ocean Dreaming. Sonia says, Kempire, it's really nice of you to give Wendy so much grace, even though she doesn't deserve it. Well, I'm going to keep an open mind. The edit might not even show what Keiarna is alleging, okay? Because this edit from this week, I'm still sort of like, Keiarna, this feels like a reach. Okay. Alma says, I'm loving the promo Kemp is giving us for Brooke's upcoming tea. I'm sad. Y'all should be, especially if you didn't come to the New York City show or you didn't see the live stream. Just saying. Okay. All right, let me get to the callers because I've been live for an hour and a half. I've been talking for an hour and a half, but I had a lot to say. I have to say, I'm going to have to give this premiere episode a 9. I'm going to have to give it a 9. Okay, let me bring up our first caller, and Tyler is first. Tyler, what did you want to share about Potomac?
Hi, Kempire. So I just want to say this. Wendy has been condescending and demeaning for a long time, but I just think Keiarna cannot articulate her feelings well, and there's no shade to her. It's like you're grasping for one thing, but you really want to say another thing, so she wasn't. And Wendy is very smart, so she can back you into a corner.
Yeah.
Stacey is like a pageant. Like, she's a professional liar. They're never going to be able to win against her, because one thing about her is you can't shake her. You have to know, you have to be smart enough to be able to go back and forth with her. The only person who would be able to do it is if Candace was still on the show, and maybe if her and Wendy bump heads. But Stacey stays clear of Wendy because she's very smart. She knows Wendy could go there with her. The rest of these girls, it's like, it's a waste of time. Honestly, Ashley can go. I like Gizelle so far this season. She's still the same messy Gizelle, but it's a little toned down. But Ashley can go. Like, you offer nothing. I'd rather regular Robin than Ashley. I swear, because Ashley gets on my last nerve. Robin, you should have came as a friend and did more, and maybe they would have bumped you up into a full-time housewife. But Ashley can go. No next season for her, please. And the one that Gizelle brought.
I gotta stop you. The timer went off. You didn't hear it. It went off. Sorry. But thank you, Tyler. All right, we have a long line. So I even dropped the call-in link for the general audience yet. Mods, have we reached our goal? I'll drop it in a second because we have quite a few members backstage. Ariana, I'll bring you up next. Ariana, what do you want to share?
Hey, how are you?
Well, how are you?
Good. I really did enjoy this episode. I was very nervous for what Potomac was going to do this season, but it does look like it's a lot of fun this season. So I am excited, and I'm looking forward to your joint lives later on in the season. Those are always so fun. And then my thing on the sponsorships, I was thinking, because Keiarna's like the boss of her, or she's the owner of her clinic, that it's probably someone else there who got the whole schedule and who the speakers were, and she didn't see it. But that's my thing. If you're a sponsor, you probably have gotten the whole agenda, and I'm sure Wendy was on there. She's speaking. So, but I'm not giving Wendy grace. I'm just saying that. And yeah, I'm actually just really excited for the season. I hope you enjoy the rest of your vacation. Didn't want to take up too much time.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ariana. Okay, let me stop. Hold on. Let me stop the clock. There we go. All right. I know you guys can't hear the alarm, which is annoying, but I can, so I'm going to have to stop you. Okay? All right. Let me bring up Angel next. Angel, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire. I just want to say, based off of based off of Karen Shade last reunion not thanking Wendy or acknowledging her at all, and even NECA's account, I think that when you're the common denominator, we should look at you a certain way. And I see Wendy, and I'm going to refer to her as Eddie's wife. I'm not even going to call her Wendy. And then Stacey, two things can be true. She can be beautiful. She may or may not have a mouth odor problem, but I don't know if I believe she actually divorced. I think maybe she embarrassed her husband last season with TJ, and they're trying to fix that. And that's why her husband agreed to film with her this year, since nobody else would. And that's it, because I don't want to take too much time.
Thanks, Angel. All right. Taurus with a T, it says device is not connected. So I'll come back to you. I'll bring up Cynthia next. Cynthia, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. I have good ears. I can hear your alarm.
Okay. All right. I think some people are conveniently not wanting to hear it.
How you doing, Kempire? It was a good episode. I was a part of the live stream with you and Brooke. I'm not surprised. Kempire, do you remember when Wendy said, I clocked it? Was she talking about Stacey? Remember when she was at Gizelle's house? I think correct me if I'm wrong. I think when Stacey left and they were talking about Stacey and Wendy said, I clocked it. Remember, I clocked it. I don't know.
Oh, maybe at the reunion, I think she had clocked it.
Okay, yeah, probably that. But anyways, good episode. Thanks, Kempire. Did the alarm go off?
Yeah, thanks.
It did. Sorry.
We stopped right when it went off. Perfect.
Take care, Kempire. Thank you.
Bye. All right, let me stop. I need another timer. All right, Taurus with the T is backstage. We're going to bring Taurus up with the T. What's going on, Taurus with the T?
Hey, Kemp. I just want to say that Wendy definitely has a dismissive air about her, and I'm seeing that more and more as people complain. And again, Stacey can be a liar, but Gizelle and Ashley have also lied. And for them to be calling out these negative body traits about her, wasn't Ashley the same one crying when Candace said that she had a big forehead? Let's move on. It's tired already. I'll be watching. Bye.
Thank you. First, you did that with 10 seconds to go. Okay, let me just hit that restart button. All right. Okay. I'm going to drop the call link for the general audience too, just so I don't forget. Let me get to the rest of our members that are backstage. Thank you all for being members. We got El My Bell backstage. El My Bell, what did you want to share?
Hey, hi everyone. So I'm going to be really quick, but I usually end early so we can have a few seconds. So basically, I usually call in and say the show is called The Grand Dame and Them, but what am I going to say this season? And Them? So anyhow, with Stacey and TJ, I think both of them are misleading. So just because they're catching her in something doesn't mean that by default TJ is telling the truth. The 50% seems like too much. And then I felt like, okay, so Wendy is clearly using the same stylist that Britt Eady used from Atlanta, and the look is amazing. Like she looked great, but I felt like, yeah, and she kind of upstaged Ashley at her own event. I think her look was so good. And then last I wanted to say, even though yesterday you were talking about Portia and her new relationship, I just want to say, if you go back to that Girls Trip interview, that Girls Trip show, she was told by the monks with the little psychic thing that she was going to have a problem with a lesbian, if you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's all I had.
Okay. Thank you, Elle. All right, let's bring up Daylin. Daylin. Oh, hold on, Daylin. Here we go. Daylin, are you there?
Yes. How are you, Kemp?
How are you?
I'm good. I just want to agree. I give the episode a 9. Keiarna, weird. Ashley, weird. Gizelle, weird. But we're still here. Team Wendy to the end until y'all change my mind. Period. She deserves to be condescending because they were condescending to her when she first got on this show. So roles are reversed. Okay. And I'm here for it.
All right. Thanks, Daylin.
Thank you.
All right. Perfect timing. Let's bring up Brandy next. Brandy, what did you want to share about the Real Housewives of Potomac?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
I was just thinking that it'd be funny if this year Monique goes to the reunion and somebody clocks her like, I guess that little check is something now, huh? Because remember when she was like, oh, that little check ain't nothing. And when Stacey was with her ex-husband, I was like, this is such a difference. Like, I was happy for her to be with a man that actually wants to be with her, opposed to TJ. It was such a stark difference. And if he's suing her, I wouldn't have settled. I would have took it to court, because if the evidence is the season showing him supposed to be an actor, like, he did a horrible job, and I'm paying you for your service, and this is the job you did, and you don't have to, like, get out of here.
I mean, but then she would have to admit that she had some sort of agreement with him.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. That was all, though.
Thank you. Bye. All right, Tanisha's backstage. We'll bring Tanisha up next. Tanisha, what did you want to share? Tanisha, you're muted.
Hi.
There you go.
Yes, I would agree with everyone about Wendy. She seems a little bit off. And it seems like from the ending of the preview, it looks like Stacey is going to say that she used TJ to make her husband jealous. That's what I kind of got from the ending. Yeah, and I think that they went a little easy on Karen. Like, Karen had literally lied. Like, that video was atrocious. She wasn't a little drunk halfway. She was fully drunk. She deserved everything. And I think she should low-key still be in jail. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tanisha. Tanisha did that with 5 seconds to go. I know that's right, Tanisha. Hold on. Let me just make this go. Woo. Okay. All right. Guys, keep liking the video if you haven't already. We're talking about the Real Housewives. We're taking some quick callers. Callers, please respect the timer. I know you may not hear the timer, but if you do, stop you. I will definitely stop you. All right. Let me bring up Mel next. Mel, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Now, Gizelle knows good and darn well. She knows she has made friends with the word humiliated in her lifetime. She has been humiliated by every man she ever dated. She was humiliated by her father, God bless her soul, on the open mic. She was humiliated by her neck, her cankles, her water retention. She was humiliated by her fashion and her bad home. That's all.
We're going to move on. Okay, Tootsie's backstage. Tootsie, what did you want to share?
Yeah, I'm with Mel. Ashley and Gizelle is full of crap. They came out to Candace when Candace was talking about Mia, and now they're doing the same. She slept with the vampire from the underworld, didn't get nothing but 2 kids that look just like him, and gives her to have no happiness because she's all bad inside. And Wendy, I love you, Wendy. Girl, just stick up and do what you got to do. And Stacey give me that she was standing over your head with a knife. That's all I got.
That's Tootsie. See, shout out to the people getting to the point. I love it. All right, and doing it with in under 30 seconds. Okay, let's get to the rest of our callers. Callers, you got pressure on you. Okay, we got Lee backstage. Lee, what did you want to share?
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
I'm doing good. So I actually really enjoyed this episode. I keyed, and I think what really did it for me is that I truly believe that everybody was being themselves. Nobody was trying to put on like a fake story like how we had in the past. So with that being said, I definitely don't miss Mia, and I'm really excited to get to know the other 2 new girls. Only thing I am going to say is Stacey is a hoot. Like, what is she lives in like her own delusional land, but I love that for her. But I definitely think she paid TJ. Like, duh, she definitely did that. And that's it. That's all. I can't wait for the rest of the season. Bye.
Bye. She really does live in her own world. She really does. All right, let's bring up Lavender Harmony next. Lavender Harmony, what did you want to share?
Hi, Cam.
Hey.
Okay, so very quickly, Gizelle has no storyline again.
I did want to mention
still
this.
Wearing that.
Wait, Lavender, honey, hold on. Hold on a second.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, pause.
Okay.
I did want to mention, guys, did we even realize that Mia wasn't here? Just saying. Anyway. All right, Lavender, Harmony, what did you want to share? Go ahead, Lavender.
I said, first of all, Gizelle has no story again. Charisse is still wearing that same wig. Ashley needs to calm down with asking someone about a divorce. And how does she look so boring at her own party? Why was AJ sitting in the back row in Stacey's car when they got to the party? And you see him struggling to get out of the back seat. And then Keiarna putting her hand in Stacey's face. That was, that irked me. That's all.
Thank you, Lavender. All right. I'm going to think the reason why they put him all the way in the back was because maybe there were producers and things like that in the car. I don't know. All right. Ariel's backstage. Ariel, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Potomac?
Hi, Kempire.
Yeah.
So I think it was kind of funny seeing Gizelle open up in her house. I'm glad she's embracing empty nest life, but she was in, I want to say, H&M joggers, and I'm just curious what happened to GNA. I'm happy that Wendy and Eddie finally came across a good business venture, and that Happy Eddie is taking off. He deserves it. And then after, I don't even know, 5 winters, 6 summers, and 2 presidential elections, it's really good to see that Ashley Darby is officially divorced and celebrating the second blossoming. And I cannot wait to see what else the season unfolds. But I will say SOC had my heart over this premiere.
Ooh. Okay. Thanks, Ariel.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Guys in the chat, did you prefer Salt Lake City's premiere over Real Housewives of Potomac? I got to think about that. I don't know. I got to think about that. I want to know what you guys think in the chat, though. Noda Queen's backstage. Noda Queen, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Potomac's premiere?
Hey, Kempire. So I missed the premiere because I was moving last night. Hey, congratulations to me. But I did want to say about Wendy using her intelligence to deflect, because I wanted to talk about this, but I didn't watch that season live. Her second season, when she magically became booty drop Wendy, Gizelle and Robin were right about her. The problem is Gizelle doesn't have enough self-restraint, so she took it too far. But she was right that Wendy just popped out randomly being booty drop Wendy, and that was never her personality. But then at the reunion, Wendy used her intelligence. Oh, I'm a doctor and I can't be multifaceted. Nobody said that. That's not your facet. But Gizelle and Robin were too low intelligent to argue that. So that's why she got away with that. But she's been doing that. But you have a great one.
You too. Interesting. Okay. All right. Let me bring up. Hold on. Okay, for those that have already spoken, please drop out so that other people can call in. Corinne, we're going to bring up next. Corinne, what did you want to share?
Hi, I just want to say that I've listened to everyone's opinions. Also, this episode was a 4 out of 10 for me because they're doing the same thing they do all the time, is they're harping on old issues. But I think the women can't handle the fact that Wendy is moving up in life, and that's why Gizelle and Ashley had to take a back seat. And now Keiarna and some of the new players want to try and take a jab at Wendy, and it's not going to work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Corinne. I love that. 20 seconds, Corinne did that. Okay, let's bring up my next caller, Jess. Jess, what's going on?
I'm here. So I just want to say, I'm seeing Dr. Wendy, but my whole thing is that, I think that people expect her to be this humble person and not be braggadocious. I think that, she is a housewife, so she's allowed to be, self-centered and stuck up and all those things and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we accept the nuance from other housewives, but I feel like when it comes to Dr. Wendy, people are kind of like, oh, you're not humble. Oh, you're not this person, all that. And I've met her in person, and she's pretty. I bet her ahead of the one season, and she's pretty nice, and I think that overall, people, Keiarna's whole thing is that she's picking up Karen's beef, so that's where I feel like the exchange happened.
Okay, thanks, Jess, for calling in.
No problem. Bye.
Missy's backstage. We're gonna bring Missy up next. Hold on. Ooh, Missy, there we go. Hey, Missy, you're muted.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just came in to say one thing. Wendy's cackle was everything.
It is. I should save it to my soundboard. All right. We've got Angelique backstage. Angelique, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire.
Hey.
So I hardly ever call in. I used to be replay crew in LA. I had to change my name so you knew which Angelique we are. There's 2 or 3 of us. So I'm just real quick. I saw your After Dark. I had to get it at home, but I saw that one. Or not After Dark, on Door. I saw Humble Brag this morning. And then the other thing, I hope you're watching Ladies in London. I want a recap on that. And with Karen on Potomac, I would like her to come. And I'd like to see what her punishment afterwards really is. I'm the one that actually has the experience with the drinking and the court system and how Jax Taylor pisses me all the way off. But that's a whole other conversation. So I just want to see how the girls are going to go with something that's serious coming back on again. And that's it. I enjoyed it.
Thanks, Angelique.
Thanks.
Bye. All right. Last but definitely not least, Zena. Zena, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire and the beautiful people of the world.
Hey.
I think it's really hilarious too how Ashley and Gizelle is putting out this narrative of accountability. Gizelle, ain't you the one that alluded to the fact that Chris was trying to lure you into the room by yourself and, he knew my team wasn't going to be there. He was trying to see if I was with it. And then you're going to turn around and think you could say a simple question is, I just added a little sauce to it. I didn't mean it like that. I added a little sauce to it. Y'all, when you and Miss Little Ashley being with the booty grabbing man for all those years, have the nerve to sit here and talk about somebody being accountable. And that whole concubine joke, yes, Karen did say it, and she did her time. But some stuff you don't kick people while they down. With people like Ashley and Gizelle around, you don't need enemies. Just keep them around, and they're gonna stab you in the back, front, neck, side, head, and everything else. I can't deal with it, but that's all.
Thanks, Zena.
Yeah, bye.
Because look, in real life, if my friend got their 4th DUI, I don't think I would make that kind of joke. I wouldn't make that kind of joke if we saw video footage and things like that. I'd be very disappointed. But again, we've said this countless times. Ashley is no one's friend. I wouldn't trust her with anything. And we warned Stacey about this last season. Remember when we were recapping it and Stacey was opening up to her, and I was like, you should not trust Ashley. Ashley is only for self. But that was the season premiere of the Real Housewives of Potomac, and I know some of you are watching the replay of this, so shout out to the replay crew. Be sure to let us know where you're watching from, how you would rate the season premiere of Real Housewives of Potomac, and if you had to pick which city had the best premiere, Salt Lake City or Potomac, let me know. I'm interested. And let me know your other thoughts on the premiere episode of Real Housewives of Potomac. Shout out to our King's Guard. Shout out to our channel members. We appreciate you guys as well. We did have a couple of super chats that I wanted to say thank you, and members that are celebrating anniversaries. Angelique, thank you so much for the super chat. First thing I saw today, great time on Humble Brag. Thank you so much. Yes, don't forget, I dropped by Cynthia and Crystal Kung Golf's podcast, Humble Brag, so be sure to check that out. Tish, thank you for the super chat. Y'all are on one today. Just read after read. They were waiting for Potomac to come back. Deborah, thank you for being a member for 31 months. Deborah says, Stacey, don't get high on your own supply. I don't know. Tasman, thank you so much for the super chat. Tasman says, we forgot to collectively laugh at Kay saying Stacey couldn't sneeze a tear out her beady little eye. That cracked me up. Stacey be lying. Yeah, they said that when they were at Gizelle's house. Excuse me. Elizabeth, thank you so much for being a member for 9 months. She says, look like Stacey will carry the show alone again. Ooh. Teresa, thank you. Oh, Teresa, wait, I saved that by accident. Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat. Kendra says, we need Mel to call in every recap because that was a mess. Tish, thank you so much for gifting memberships. And be sure to thank Tish if you got gifted a membership in the chat. Thank you so much, Tish, for the memberships. And if you didn't get gifted a membership, you can still become a member at TheKempire.com/join. And don't forget, we have some new merch. Are You Okay merch and tour merch. So, we just did a summer tour, the Villain Era tour. The Loverboy era is still loading. I'll see you in 2026. But the Villain Era tour merch is now available as well. Head on over to houseofkempire.com. Links are available in the description. Kimberly called in. Let me see what Kimberly wanted to share. Kimberly, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, real quick, I just wanted to say that, I don't know if you guys caught Watch What Happened Live last night? Oh, you did? Seen clips? Mm-hmm. But I just thought it was an example of why you always say this, that they need some people of different backgrounds in there, because it was just a mess. Did you see that? I mean, they were awesome. I thought, I'm not a fan of Gizelle, but I thought Gizelle was good and so Lava was great, but he couldn't relate to them. He didn't know what they were saying. They were speaking different languages, in my opinion. And I spoke both. I speak both. So I was just like, you're not catching all this stuff and you're missing all this time. So that's all I wanted to say. Thanks for picking up.
Thanks, Kimberly. We got a couple people that called in as we were trying to get up out of here. Toya, what did you want to share? Toya, you're muted. Toya.
Hello?
Yes. Toya, is there a delay?
Hey, Kempire, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Well, talk. Go ahead.
Okay. Hey, Kempire, sorry. I just wanted to say thank you. I just wanted to say I think that Gizelle and Ashley are the new Gizelle and Robin. And Stacey comes across like she really is acting, and scene, really, so rehearsed. I'm just going to say, I don't know what you're talking about. And I can't confirm, but I've moved on with my life. And it's just girl, and what is going on with her husband? You see, this is why y'all need to make sure, stay away from these married men who are going through divorces, Clarissa Shields, because you found out you were officially divorced and you were sad and you wanted to come together. What were y'all doing alone at Christmas time with your daughter if y'all were both single? I don't want no parts of that. Stay away from these men until they are officially single, please. And I feel like Keiarna's mom is so gorgeous. I am sorry, but that lady is gorgeous. And I just want to say to my ladies in their 30s and 40s, stop wasting your time with men. I just got married to my husband and on the 3rd year anniversary of our first date. So within 3 years, okay? So stop wasting your time. She's too gorgeous for that. But I feel like she is picking a fight with Miss Wendy. But I don't know, because Miss Wendy coming across a little bit shady too. So we'll see. One more thing I wanted to say. The Essence. I thought it was really funny how they said that they both went to Essence, Ashley and Gizelle. when Essence had that little expose article about Potomac, y'all was real silent then, but all of a sudden y'all invited to Essence luncheons. Okay. That's it. Thank you, Kempire.
Thanks, Toya. All right. All right, let me see what you guys. Oh, thank you so much, Melissa, for the super chat. We appreciate it as well. Thank you to everyone that's sending Cash App, Venmos. Y'all gonna help me? I'm gonna buy dinner tonight. Look, it's 9:00. I'm gonna go buy me some dinner. All right, and I will see you guys later. So thank you to everyone that gave to the dinner super chat fundraiser. And yes, a reminder: what you see on my face today, the skin is skinning. This is all butter. So for those that want to get butter products from me, head on over to my TikTok shop. That's tiktok.com/@TheKempire. Make sure you follow me there. And you'll check out my TikTok shop. You'll see all the different butter products. We are working on getting a discount code from Butter for our YouTube and podcast fam. So stay tuned for that. And I will be joining Butter again next month for our holiday online shopping event. For those that were a part of it last time, you got all kinds of really great deals and giveaways. So stay locked for that. Shout out to those of you watching on Twitch, Twitter, those of you watching on Facebook, The Kempire and Kempire Daily on Facebook. And of course, those of you watching on YouTube, thank you to our members, thank you to our subscribers, and thank you to our King's Guards as well. Keita says, I got my butter delivery today. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Jermaine says, come on, butter. Mitzi says the skin is flawless. Look, and this is from a day of running around all day. Okay. All right. Angel, thank you so much for the super chat. Angel says, get a tea on me. Thought about Theo on the Cosby Show when Eddie's son said that he wanted to work at Chick-fil-A. Alma, thank you for being a member for 2 years. 2 years Alma's been a member. She says, it makes me so happy to see all of you, to see you on all of these other podcasts. We know it expands the level of community even more. Congrats. Thank you, Alma. Appreciate that. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. I need to figure out what I want to eat because now it's late. I don't really like eating this late, but brother's on vacation, so no rules apply, right? To weight gain, right? Maybe? Okay. All right. Oh, Kima, no, what happened? Kima, what you saying? Where'd you say it? Look, Kima, let Tamar up for me? Don't do it. Like, don't bully him. Don't do any of that. All right. Go watch me on Humble Brag on Cynthia and Crystal's podcast. I was on Humble Brag. Go check that out. If you haven't checked it out, go drop your crowns, your elephants. Let them know that I sent you. All right, y'all. I'll see you guys later. Bye, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. As always, don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And for more details on everything Kempire, be sure to check out the episode notes, including our new merch.